Rugby and alcohol have a very close relationship. At every level of the sport, the frothy stuff is never far away. From the ABs down to club rugby.
That man deserves a DB.
Sports writer Gregor Paul is calling New Zealand rugby out. This week, they promised a reimagining of the sport, embracing player welfare and putting rugby back at the heart of communities. Gregor says rugby can't be taking handouts from the brewing industry and in the same breath trying to position itself as a community champion. In New Zealand, alcohol causes 13,000 deaths a year. It's just not that good for us. Neither is rugby's tacit endorsement. So maybe it's time to wean our national sport off mother's milk.
Well, Gregor Paul dropped this bombshell in today's Herald, and he's here for more on this. Gregor, what exactly are you asking for? How far-reaching should this ban be?
Well, I think I'd like to see a total ban on alcohol sponsorship on kit and apparel that rugby teams wear, and that goes from sort of club level, Super Rugby, up to All Black level, and to remove the possibility of alcohol sponsorship around competitions and tournaments. They don't get the naming rights for those either. And there's probably a little bit of me that imagines that we'd have a world where you're not allowed to serve beer or alcohol at major events or major rugby events, but I suspect that's probably a wee bit unrealistic, that one.
Why? Why are you calling for this?
I think there's a bad association between beer and rugby that needs to be broken. And I think if you're going to go to a big event, you see some behaviours at these events, you see an experience that I don't think is brilliant for everybody. It feels to me like alcohol is not the right relationship partner for high-performance sport or indeed for community sport.
Given the amount of money involved, isn't what you're calling for totally unrealistic?
The All Blacks have they lost AIG on their jersey last year. They've pretty easily found another one to come into their place. So look, there will always be corporations looking to take up sports sponsorship opportunities. So no, I don't think it would be a problem.
Rugby's already struggling to attract a crowd. I'm not a big drinker, but I would imagine I'd like one beer to watch the rugby. Do you think anyone's going to go if they can't have a single beer at the game?
Well, I mean, I was thinking about this. It's a wee bit sad because I went to watch Top Gun Maverick the other day, and at no point did I think, jeepers, I'm not going to get through this movie unless I have at least one beer or two beers. And look, you're right, the vast majority of people do use alcohol responsibly and do enjoy a couple of beers, and I sound like a puritanical idiot by saying, well, ban the whole lot. But you do get a significant minority who don't know how to use alcohol and ruin the experience for everybody else. So you can't have it both ways. It's either all in or all out, because we can't trust everyone to use it well.
As a rugby writer, are you sticking your neck out by, criticising New Zealand rugby a little bit?
No, I'm not criticising New Zealand rugby. I'm suggesting that I think they've got some really noble goals at the moment. They've reimagined the sport and how they want it to look. And what I'm pointing out is if you continue to have such a strong association with beer and allow alcohol sponsorship to pervade as deeply as it is, it potentially undermines all the good qualities that you're trying to drive into the game. So I'm not criticising New Zealand rugby. I'm hand on heart saying, hey, look, why don't you take out the alcohol sponsorship, because that fits a lot better with the image and the kind of vision that you have for the game right now.
Well, Gregor, it's a great idea. Good luck to you and thanks for your time.
Thanks very much.
Hey, kia ora, welcome along to the project on Friday night. Look, Jackie Brown is here.
Hello.
And Guy Williams in the house.
Yes.
Great to have you both in. What do you think of this pretty radical idea?
I totally support it. I don't drink myself, and I think New Zealand has a problem with drinking, but I think in that interview we did kind of like weirdo losers, because alcohol is so embedded in our country that it's hard to talk against it. But I will say that another problem with this is that often a worse sponsor comes along. Like we banned smoking quite easily, but then alcohol fills that gap. And in the UK, they banned alcohol sponsors, and then gambling fills that gap. And then they're trying to ban that, and it's getting sponsored by fossil fuel companies.
Okay, so I love what you're saying there. So who would be a good sponsor?
Okay, you've put me on the back foot there.
Yeah. I say Auckland Hospital A&E, because they are the ones who are going to be benefiting if the alcohol disappears.
Because everyone knows just how over-resourced Auckland's A&E is right now.
Splash the cash.
Woo!